The original 1957 Sportster was a superbike of its time. It raced on the road, on the dirt tracks, up the hills, and on the salt flats. It even set a land speed record. But as time passed and Harley's dedication to performance waned, this bike became sort of a running joke. Air-cooled and with push rods, 5 gears, weighing a ton, and only capable of pumping out 60-some horsepower out of 1200cc in 2020. And with Euro regulations looming, it was teetering on the edge of extinction. Well, what do you know? Say hello to the new Sportster S. Oh wait, the official line is, we put the sport back in Sportster. And as much as I like our traditional Evo Sportster, its vibration, its sound, its Harleyness, I must admit that I'm not too bothered about the lack of push rods and cooling fins on the new one. The only thing about it that is rather ugly is the radiator, but that couldn't be helped. The EU kiboshed the old air-cooled Sporty. So this is the new Sportster, and boy oh boy it looks sweet. Will we be trading in our 2019 Roadster for one? Stay tuned to find out, and do all the stuff. Press all the buttons, check us out on other social media, etc, etc. Now let's take a look at this thing. Alright, there's a lot to look at here, but the first and most important thing is 121 horsepower and 94 pound-feet of torque. It's not the 150 horsepower of the Pan America, but I still like it. The motor was probably retuned for lower end torque. Damned if this thing doesn't rip the Indian Scout a new one. Power-wise, it competes with the Indian FTR 1200, although it has a totally different seating position. I've ridden the FTR and it's a fun bike, so expect the new Sportster S to be a hoot. When it comes to performance cruisers, there are tiers, and the very highest level is reserved for the Ducati Diavos and Triumph Rocket 3s. According to its spec sheet, this new Sportster is not quite at that level, but also doesn't cost as much. 15,000 US, 18 Canadian, with a little extra if you want it in anything other than black. I have a feeling this is going to be the flagship of the Sportster line, as lesser models are likely to have the 975cc motor of the Bronx. But the very pricey Ducatis and Triumphs weren't the target of this bike. The Sportster S is aimed at the Indian Scout, which has been laying a beating on Sportsters since it was introduced, what with its 100 horsepower. Well, this one will one-up the Scout in performance and price, but not in a good way. This bike is $3,000 US more expensive than the most expensive Scout. Hopefully there will be some more affordable Sportsters coming soon. However, this bike packs a lot more tech than the Scout. Like the Pan America, the engine is a structural component of the chassis which reduces weight. That explains this bike's 503 pound wet weight. The 4-inch round display is similar to the new Indian Chiefs and shows the rider a lot of info. There are 3 riding modes, Sport, Road, and Rain, plus one that you can customize. There is Bluetooth connectivity where you can access nav. There is cruise control, a USB charging port, cornering traction control, and cornering ABS. And, dare we dream, a 6th gear. This ain't your grandpa's Sportster. And it doesn't look like it either. Styling is modern and aggressive with full LED lights and a headlight that looks like the Fat Bob. As I said before, the Rad is an eyesore, as all Rads tend to be on all motorcycles. But the Scout has already proven that a liquid-cooled cruiser will sell, and there is no helping liquid cooling anyways. Euro 5 killed the old motor, and Europe is a huge market that seems tailor-made for the Sportster S. One detail that caught my attention is the seat height. Harley has gotten into the habit of publishing the laden seat height, which is the height of the seat with a 180 pound rider on it. They list the Sportster S's seat height as 28.9 inches, which is high for a cruiser and is going to be higher without a rider. This is a big turnaround from Harley's usual efforts to have the rider's butt practically scraping the pavement. A tall seat height provides more lean angle, 34 degrees on both sides, and makes the bike fast in more than a straight line. Who knows, this might be the cruiser to take to the tail of the dragon. Although on a lap around the track, I'll put my money on the Indian FTR 1200 with its sporty riding position. Shorter riders beware though. Still, it's good to see Harley taking performance seriously for the first time in decades. How refreshing to get the Pan America and the Sportster S after years of the big yearly reveals focusing on new color schemes for the Softails and Baggers. One unknown at the time of this publication is the suspension. This new Sporty obviously has a monoshock hidden underneath, but Harley does not list travel or provide any details about its performance. You can bet if there was an Öhlins hidden under there, the marketing team would be screaming about it from every rooftop. This leads me to suspect that the suspension is basic, which is fine as long as it isn't the horror show that Indian put on the Scout Bobber. I think we can all agree that 2 inches just aren't enough. And of course, there will be accessories. Kudos to Harley for offering them, but they're not on the website yet. All there is a picture of a bike decked out with some touring goodies. They will be expensive, but at least they'll be available. No word yet on whether this bike will be able to carry 2, but the position of those pipes may give your passenger a hot butt, and not in a good way. So the new Sportster is more powerful, higher tech, lighter, faster, probably better handling than any Harley other than the Pan America. It is a better motorcycle in every way than any of the soon-to-be outgoing Sportster models. But as always with Harley, the question is, will the Harley faithful accept it? The V-Rod was a flop, and the streets are not even worth mentioning. Hardcore Harley guys are stuck on push rods and cooling fins, and anything without those just ain't a true hog. Maybe the air-cooled Sportsters will continue in some markets for a while yet, but if they don't, there is a glut of used ones on the market, and I have a feeling there always will be. Will this bike have the character of the old Sportsters? No. It can't, because the agricultural, low-tech nature of the old bikes is their character. It won't sound like a traditional Harley, it won't vibe like a traditional Harley, and it won't feel like one. And that's sad, but also, it's about time. Sad because truly there was something special about those old Sporties. They were the last of a dying breed, rough around the edges but lovable. About time because the guys on the big Harleys who used to laugh at Sportsters and call them girls' bikes will get awful nervous the first time a Sportster S shows up to the group ride. Their most enduring memory of it may be the sight of its taillight disappearing up the road. A redemption for the Sportster name of sorts. After all, the original Sportster was a performance bike. 121 horsepower has a way of making you forget how important tradition is and overlooking that radiator. And I have a feeling that in Europe and other non-traditional markets, it will sell like hotcakes. Clearly, these new Revolution Max bikes will not be an afterthought like the V-Rod. They are Harley's future and the company is marketing them accordingly. So to sum up, the good. The new Sportster S looks like a phenomenal bike. Plenty of horsepower and torque and generous lean angles along with aggressive modern styling. It's good to see Harley having the balls to put out something like this. The bad? No way around it, it's expensive. It's considerably more pricey than the least expensive Softail, so less expensive models are needed. Also, it won't feel like a traditional Harley, which depending on your outlook is either good or bad. The unknown, the suspension. Let's hope it performs up to the price of the bike. And by the way, at this price, would it kill Harley to put dual discs on it? With 121 horsepower, this bike also needs serious stopping power. So, are we trading in the Roadster and embracing the new Revolution Max? Not yet. We bought the Roadster because we liked its rough-edgedness and character, and neither of us is about racing around on the roads. Plus, it's expensive. But I hope this new bike finds success. Lord knows, this announcement sure beats bold new graphics from the AMF era on the Iron 1200. So what do you think? Is this the new Sportster, or should Harley have called it a different name? Does it proudly carry on the tradition that was started in 1957, or does it besmirch the great Sportster line? Will it sell and restore Harley's reputation as a performance brand, or will it flop like the V-Rod? Would you buy it or pass, and why? Feel free to leave your comments below, and as always, ride safe. If you're interested in any of the gear that Brooke and I wear or use, or the camera equipment we use to film this channel, the links are below. Everything listed there was bought with our own money, and we are not sponsored by any company. However, the links below are affiliate links, and the channel is paid a small amount for referring you to shop at no additional cost to you. We do not recommend any products that we are not satisfied with ourselves, but we do strongly urge you to do your research and select the correct size for items like helmets and clothing. As always, thanks for watching, your support is greatly appreciated. Please hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And whatever you ride, enjoy it. Wave at other bikers no matter what they're riding, we're all part of a brotherhood and sisterhood. Keep the rubber side down, shiny side up, and may the spokes be with you.